Samsung Galaxy Note 8 versus iPhone XS Max speed test coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Galaxy Note 8 versus iPhone XS Max speed test. Let's begin with a boot up in 3, 2, 1 to see which one gets there first. Now, the iPhone is the more current device. It does have the A12 Bionic chipset, 4 GB of RAM, but the Note 8 is still a pretty powerful device with a Snapdragon 835 and 6 GB of RAM. This is a 256 gig model. This is a 64 GB model. This runs Android 8.0 over here. This guy runs the iOS 12, and you can see the iPhone XS Max ahead by a few seconds there over the Galaxy Note 8 on the boot up. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and do an iris scanner versus the Face ID speed test. Now, I do like how Samsung does implement a little toggle so you can go ahead and decide whether you want it to unlock right when you open the phone or if you want it to unlock with a swipe. This is what I want to see Apple do with the Face ID. The Note 8 doesn't have intelligence scan, but it basically has 3 ways to unlock. I wouldn't recommend face recognition because this one's not as secure. That fingerprint scanner is rather speedy on this device. You just have to get your finger on the right place every time. But when you do, it's pretty accurate and it works just fine. But let's go ahead and test out the irises. 3, 2, 1. And you can see rather fast. 3, 2, 1. And pretty good. Again, 3, 2, and 1. And you can see it works pretty good. You just have to look at it in pretty good lighting. Okay, so here we are with the XS Max. I'm just gonna have raise to wake on. 3, 2, 1. And you can see you are in. Again, 3, 2, 1. And boom, you are in. So it's a pretty fast facial recognition. It doesn't always get you depending on if you're wearing sunglasses or not. So Face ID is pretty accurate, about 98% I find. I just wish there was a way to have an option to go ahead and toggle it where it'll just go right into the phone, because, you know, phones like the Galaxies as well as some Huawei devices as well as, you know, OnePlus will just snap right in to the device. So that would be nice to see in a future iOS update. But in terms of speed, I would say Face ID is probably a little bit faster to recognize, but because Samsung doesn't have to require you to do an extra swipe, they're kind of even. Okay, guys, so we've arrived at the application portion of this speed test. I'm gonna have everything closed out here for the iPhone XS Max. You can see everything closed out there now for the Note 8. Let's go ahead and begin with Instagram. 3, 2, 1. And you can see Instagram first on neither. It looked about the same. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's go to my profile page. You can see the XS Max had that loaded first, but the Note 8 seems to go into pictures first on the left. So pretty close performance here on Instagram. I think it's, again, more of a fast feel for the Note 8, but it doesn't look quite as smooth to the eye as the iPhone XS Max. So I think the XS Max is smoother feeling on Instagram. Let's go into Twitter. 3, 2, 1. You can see Twitter was first on the left, and then the XS Max flew open. Now, one thing you will notice if you had a home button iPhone before is that the gestures do keep up with the capacitive keys of Android. The XS Max wins there for Snapchat. Let's go into YouTube. 3, 2, and 1 and see which one is first for this guy. And that was pretty close, to be quite honest with you. Pretty close on both. Let's go into Prime Video. 3, 2, 1. Let's hope we don't get an ad on either of these. And you could see the XS Max is definitely behind there on Prime Video. Let's hit Jaws, and pretty close performance there. And coming home, let's go into Pinterest. 3, 2, 1. And you can see Pinterest is first on the left. Coming back home, let's go into Amazon shopping, and you could see who's gonna shop first. That looks like the XS Max by some milliseconds. Let's click the same item, deal of the day, and see what happens here. The XS Max slightly ahead. So it seems like you're shopping first there for the XS Max. All right, so let's head into eBay. 3, 2, 1. You can see eBay is first for the Note 8, then the XS Max. Let's click another similar link, and you can see the XS Max gets that open first. So it seems like when you're in the app, the XS Max seems to be faster. Let's go into Spotify. 3, 2, 1. See which one could start playing music first. And that was pretty much a draw. I think milliseconds maybe to the XS Max. That's the XS Max right there. So it seems like they're flip-flopping in performance, you know, in different applications. So in terms of the day-to-day stuff, it seems like even on these third-party apps, it's going to be quite similar. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2, 3, 2, 1, and see what happens here. So you've seen that animation delay significant there for the Note 8 compared to the XS Max, but it loads up pretty quickly. Let's hit play. see which one can get into the game first, and the Note 8 right on its heels, but no, it's the XS Max here with the win. Now, in terms of graphical performance, I find that the XS Max just seems to run a little bit smoother looking, and it just has higher looking quality graphics when you are playing this game. So I think that no lag, a cooler phone here offers some better performance there for the XS Max. Now over here on the Note 8, what I really like about this one is those thin bezels on the edges give you just enough room to hold on to this display, and it's a huge gaming experience, but it's also quite smooth in most regards. It just depends on the game, and the quality is nice as well. I just find the graphics a little bit better looking for the XS Max. Let's head over into PUBG to see which one can load this first, and I will be back once they get into the match screen, as they do take quite a bit of time. All right, so it took significantly longer for the Note 8 to get into the PUBG mobile match screen, so you probably are likely going to be playing that game first when you are on the iPhone XS Max versus the Note 8. Now that A12 Bionic and that Apple GPU might help in terms of actual performance as well in gameplay, so if you're using a Note 8, you might get killed first, for example. Let's head into Asphalt Legends 3, 2, 1. And see which one can load this first. Look how much bigger that Game Loft sign was on the Note 8. So the XS Max ahead, and it wins there for the gaming load time. So let's go into play, and let's click this guy. Let's go ahead and click next, and let's click Mitsubishi Evo, and let's click play. And I think the XS Max is ready to go, as well as the Note 8. This is pretty close performance here, at least in this game. But there we go. There's that extra power loading that game up first here. And let's go ahead and see how they do perform in actual gameplay. So you can see the graphics, to me, they just look better here. I actually paused the game. They just look better here to me on the iPhone XS Max. Now, I don't know if it's just me seeing that and I got my own biases or whatever. Let me know your thoughts though on the graphics, but they just look like a more higher quality for the XS Max, whereas they look more colorful on the Note 8, and they also look great on the Note 8 as well, but the XS Max to me looks more console-like. That's just my personal experience and what I'm seeing. Let me know your thoughts down below. In terms of actual gameplay, as long as the game is optimized well, they both perform well, but the XS Max has more games available, from, higher quality developers right away versus the Note 8. Okay, so you can see all the applications are open here for the Note 8. What I want to do is run through multitasking to show you how they perform Instagram, Twitter, and one thing you'll notice is just how much faster the XS Max is going to open up to these applications on the multitasking, although the Note 8 does really good with this respect as well. I think the gesture system just makes it feel a little bit faster to use on the day-to-day. So let's go into PUBG Mobile, and everything just loaded great on the Note 8. The Note 8 has never given me any issues with RAM management because it's got 6 gigs of RAM. That's the sweet spot for a Samsung phone. Now check this out for the XS Max. It's just so fast. You can just pop out of these apps with the gesture like nothing. So in terms of multitasking, oh, that was a reload. In terms of multitasking, it just seems smoother for the XS Max, but I'm not saying it could hold more apps because you've seen Pinterest. I'm just saying it feels smoother to use on the day-to-day for the XS Max just because of the gesture system. It just goes in super fast. But maybe the Note 8 might be able to hold more apps because it has 6 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs. You've seen the reload on Pinterest. All right, so here we are with the internet speed test. Let's begin with Yahoo. 3, 2, and 1. Let's hit go. You can see the Note 8 ahead there over the XS Max. Let's go into this article right here just to see. You can see that looks like they both loaded that rather similarly. So let's go to apple.com. 3, 2, 1. You can see, whoa, that was pretty close. I couldn't even see it. I think it was the Note 8 a little bit ahead there on Apple's own website. Let's hit the watch, and you can see that opens up first on the left. Pretty surprising. Well, not surprising considering that the connection speeds haven't been the best here on iOS 12, according to a lot of people. So maybe it's showing here in this video. I'm not sure. I really haven't been experiencing it too much, but I do think that the Note 8 and the Note series phones have always been faster when it comes to this kind of stuff anyway. So let's head over to Samsung.com. 3, 2, 1, and you could see that looked like the Note 8, not by much, but it still looked like the Note 8 here. So So you can see scrolling very similar. Internet performance, you're not going to be disappointed with either. Both are very smooth and very fast on Samsung Internet or Safari, the ones that are optimized best for these devices. All right, so here we are with a video shop render. This is a 35-second 1080p clip. We're just gonna see which one can render out the video first. So let me go to share here. We're gonna put it in 1080 as it was shot there. And let's leave it in 30 as that's what I shot it in the XS Max. We're gonna save to the gallery, 3, 2, and 1. And you could see the XS Max with a smoking victory here. It's not even close. Boom, there goes the XS Max. The Note 8 just trailing behind here. And this is only 35 seconds. I can only imagine if this was like 10 minutes. So if you're doing video editing, it's a crushing victory here for the iPhone XS Max. Okay, so in terms of the benchmarks, you can see that the Note 8 is not even close to that of the iPhone XS Max. And in the real world day-to-day experience, the thing that really is noticeable when using the iPhone XS Max is going to be just its consistency and its overall polish and smoothness. It just feels much smoother than the Note 8 when operating it day to day. However, the Note 8 is by no means a slow phone, and I never really had an issue with it. It never really let me down, you know, in any way, shape, and form. So I don't think this upgrade is worth to do just for performance. You gotta really want to come to the iOS ecosystem. You gotta want that updated camera. You gotta want the slightly larger display for the XS Max, maybe more storage capacity and the better resale value. But in terms of the overall phones, the Note 8 still is a competent performer. I still think it's a highly recommended device if you want to get it, you know, secondhand for like $400 now. And it has the S Pen, so it's very productive and very useful. I paid $900 and something when I first got this thing, and I feel like I got my money's worth clearly out of this phone. So still a great phone. The XS Max is the winner though overall in the overall performance. In the CPU stuff you've seen in the video editing, the Geekbench will really test the CPU. The XS Max came ahead, as well as in graphical performance in games. Anyway, that's it for me. Between the Note 8 and the iPhone XS Max, I love both of these devices, and I think if you use either one of these, you will too. Anyway, you got any comments, questions, concerns, drop them down below. Feedback for future videos, I'll take those suggestions in, so go ahead and drop them as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.